Hey tubes, so we're out here in the garage. Believe it or not, we're working on the Maytag. I know it's been quite a while, and in fact we're going to be pretty close to putting it back together, which shouldn't take too long once we're ready. But what we're doing right now is I'm trying to get this governor screw unstuck. This is the governor. That's how you get to it with the screw. You turn the screw. But the problem is right now it's stuck. It's stuck real good. I can't get it out. I let it soak for a while in penetrating oil, but it's just I can't get it out. So I gave Road King a call, and he was actually with Small Engine Mechanic. Mike, he was over, and so I'm going to try and I'm going to do what they told me. I'm going to heat it up, and what they said was we got to be careful because the brass inside, the brass is going to heat up. So what we got to do is spray it with some penetrating oil, and you know, once we spray it with the penetrating oil, we got to let it cool down. But without any further delay, we're going to go ahead and try it. One thing I want to point out is what I'm doing here is probably a very bad idea for two reasons. Number one, I'm using fire in the garage. That's a bad idea. And the other problem is I have the crank and the vise here, which could be kind of dangerous because if it falls, we're going to end up with bigger problems. But we're just going to be careful and try and avoid that. So we got the propane torch here. We're not going to use a ton of heat or anything. And again, we're going to be real careful where we point this. As long as we aim all our heat right here, it's not really going to go too far. We got to spray some air coil in there right away. Of course, that's going to mostly burn off. We'll see how it goes. I sealed the tanks the other day, the gas tanks. I sealed them with the red coat stuff Road King uses. So the tanks are ready to go. I tried doing an electrolysis on the bolts, and I really wasn't having much luck with it. It was just taking a long time and really not doing a good job. So I think I'm just going to paint them with Rust-Oleum, not because I'm lazy, but only because it's just not working out. And Rust-Oleum is fine to paint over the rust as long as it's not super heavy rust, which of course I can get that off easy enough. But so that's where we're at with the motor. Other than that, I don't think there's too much that needs to be done. I think we're very close to being ready to put this all together. As long as we get this unstuck, this is a big thing. Oh, and the only other thing is this crank, if you guys remember, the crank's broken, so I gotta decide what to do with that. I think I have two options, really. Well, one option is, of course, a new crank, but I'm not really considering that. What I could do is put this in the lathe and put drill a hole in it and tap a quarter 20, so I can put the quarter 20 in there and just bolt the pulley on. Or what I'm thinking about doing is just leaving it, because no matter what, even if I tap it and do it that way, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be able to run any kind of a load with it. So I figure there's enough here that I can get it on, and I might just stick with that. But we'll see. I'm trying to decide what to do with that. Now we should be getting pretty hot here, hotter than I would like to go with it, but oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it, I'm going to take the heat off of it and let it cool down a little while. And I'm going to let it cool down, and I'm going to spray some more air coil on it once it's a little cooler, and then we'll see if we can get it off. So let's take a standby until then. Okay, so it's cooled down a little bit, and we've had it soaking a little bit. It's still fairly warm. In fact, maybe I should let it cool a little more. I think I'm going to do that. Alright, so I let it sit here and cool for about 20 minutes. I was going to try and get it out right away, but I figured it might be a better idea to let it cool. And what I also did is, just for safety, I put some boards under the crank in case it does fall. It shouldn't roll, but just in case it falls, that'll be my safety. So here goes. Hopefully it comes out, because if it doesn't, I don't know what we're gonna do. Well, that'll do it. Nothing like heating something up. Always works. Huh. I actually didn't expect it to come out. I also used a bigger screwdriver. Last time I tried to use this, I twisted my good screwdriver because I was trying to use this. Actually, this isn't it, but I was trying to use a little tiny one like that. So this comes out, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's the little brass thing in there. Let me see if we can get you where you can see that. See, there it is. So we have to try and get that out. Actually, there's really no reason to try and take it apart, I don't think, but might as well, just I want to see how it works. So here's the other screw. I flipped it over, and this screw actually came right out. No problems with it at all. I didn't know if I'd have to heat it up again, but probably between the air coil from last time and heating it up this time, that probably freed this one up also. Alright, so that's basically it. There's nothing else to do here. I'm just gonna put them in a little bit right now. We'll set them up later and make sure it's the governor set about right. But for now, I've accomplished what I needed to do, and that being getting these loosened up. So either way, hopefully you enjoyed. I thought it might be informative and otherwise enjoyable to see how you get these things loosened up if they're stuck. Usually they aren't stuck though. From what I understand, in Road King's experience, he rarely ever has a problem with them. But in case that you do, that's how you do it. Like you do. So here's something I wanted to point out to you. Something I didn't even notice when I was taking the plugs out. You guys may or may not know, one of these is just a plug, and it's nothing more than that. But the other one here, you'll notice it's actually got the head of a cotter pin in it. And what that's for is when I took the plugs out, I took both of the plugs out, and the governor was actually stuck in there. And so I used a screwdriver to push it out. And as it turns out, the plug is supposed to be, the one with the cotter pin, is supposed to be hooked onto the spring here. So that way when the engine gets up to RPM, it pulls out here, and then what that does is it allows more fuel to flow through the passageway here. However, that's not really going to happen if this is not connected. So I'm glad I took them out and discovered that. So what we're going to do here is I bent out the spring a little bit, and I have to be careful here because I already caught my finger on it once, and that hurt. But we have to hold the spring out, put this piece on, and I'm going to grab the spring with the needle nose. It's really not that easy to do. But I'm going to grab the spring with the needle nose here. Okay. So now we've got that piece on there, and we're going to try and hold this out. I hate to stretch the spring so far, but there's no other way to do it. And then we're going to hook it on here. And then the last thing I'm going to do is bend this back down so it can't come off, because it wouldn't really damage the engine, but it would just it would shut down, and then I would have to I or whoever might buy this engine would have to take it all apart and fix that, and that's no fun. I want to make sure this is good though. But either way, I just thought I'd point that out to you. So now this is going to go in like that. And so when the engine gets to whirling around, it's going to pull out. And depending on how deep I put this in, that'll determine how much it can go. And in turn, that'll regulate how fast the engine runs. But I wanted to point that out because that's very important. And you know, I guess that's, if your engine won't run right, that's definitely a possibility of why. Obviously, if you've checked all the other possibilities of fuel delivery problems. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of the assembly. Alright.